Jasmine just flipped the entire 90-day fiancé world upside down. She took Gino Palazzolo to court, and in a swift, jaw-dropping move, the judge hit him with a $50,000 fine. Imagine waking up to a storm of public shame while the world watches your life unravel online. For Jasmine, this wasn't some scripted drama. Every meme, every screenshot, every nasty comment that had circulated for months finally had a real-life consequence. Her anxiety, sleepless nights, and panic attacks weren't invisible anymore, they were part of a story everyone could see. The courtroom became a stage, the $50,000 fine a spotlight, and Jasmine was holding her ground while Gino's reputation crumbled in front of millions. Could someone's social media actions really ruin a career overnight? Apparently, they can. And this wasn't about a minor spat or an offhand remark. This was years of digital harassment, amplified by fans, gossip accounts, and a relentless online culture that loves to tear people apart in the name of entertainment. Jasmine's bravery put the spotlight on something most people ignore: the human cost behind the clicks, the shares, and the viral memes. And just when you think the courtroom verdict settles it all, the fallout on social media begins to spiral in ways no one could have predicted. Fans took sides instantly, hashtags exploded, and the story wasn't just in the news anymore, it became the internet obsession of the week. Wait until you see what happens when online fan armies get involved. Some reactions are shocking, others heartbreaking, and a few are downright unbelievable. Before Jasmine ever stepped into a courtroom, her life had already been on display for the world to see. Fans watched every heated argument with Gino, every jealous flare-up, and every moment of emotional tension that played out on screen. They laughed, they cringed, and some even sympathized. But behind the cameras, the story was far messier than a simple reality TV feud. Gino had a way of pushing buttons without realizing how explosive it could get, and Jasmine's fiery reactions became instant fodder for gossip. People saw snippets of jealousy and mistrust, but the full picture was always more complicated, mixed with personal insecurities, miscommunications, and the relentless pressure of being constantly watched. Social media quickly turned into a battleground. Fans, trolls, and gossip accounts piled on, dissecting every word, every look, every post. Some memes were harmless, meant for laughs, but others crossed a line, questioning Jasmine's character, her choices, and even her intentions in ways that stung on a very personal level. It wasn't just about what happened on TV anymore, it was about how strangers online started to dictate her reputation. Fake images, rumors, and unverified claims spread like wildfire, and suddenly, it wasn't just a fight between two reality stars. It was a fight that affected a real person's mental health, her sense of safety, and her life outside the screen. Every notification became a small jolt of anxiety, and every tagged post reminded her that the world was judging, laughing, and speculating without context. Matt stepped into this chaos not just as Jasmine's boyfriend, but as her anchor. While the drama unfolded online, he watched her struggle with sleepless nights, panic attacks, and that gnawing feeling that she couldn't defend herself fast enough. His role went beyond emotional support. He pushed her to consider action that many wouldn't dare: using the law to hold someone accountable for harassment. Some might call it drastic, but when the attacks became relentless, the idea of standing up legally was less about revenge and more about reclaiming dignity. He reminded her that no one should feel powerless because a few people decided to weaponize the internet. And that push, gentle but firm, set the stage for the courtroom showdown that would shock fans worldwide. Of course, all of this had fans talking. Some cheered Jasmine on, admiring her courage to fight back against the online storm. Others wondered if she was overreacting or taking things too far. And Gino? He seemed oblivious at times, laughing off criticism, brushing off tension, and underestimating how quickly the online world could spiral. But here's the thing: his on-screen antics and his off-screen silence created the perfect storm. It wasn't just about reality TV drama anymore. It was about the real consequences of online harassment, public scrutiny, and personal responsibility. What's fascinating is how quickly the digital world amplified every small detail. Every argument, every sarcastic remark, every jealous glance from the show became evidence in the court of public opinion. Some fans built entire narratives around one clip, one meme, or one comment. Others used the drama to start debates about accountability, fairness, and the price of fame in the social media age. For Jasmine, it was exhausting, confusing, and deeply personal. For Gino, it was a warning that charm and humor on TV don't always translate to immunity in real life. And for the audience, it was addictive. Watching the drama play out online felt immediate, intense, and sometimes impossible to look away from. Meanwhile, Matt stayed close, helping her navigate interviews, respond to online attacks, and strategize next steps. He became her steadying force, balancing the storm of public opinion with the need for practical action. His support wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Without him, Jasmine might have been swallowed by the chaos. With him, she was ready to turn the tables, taking a step that would shake fans, followers, and even casual viewers who thought they knew the story. Fans didn't have to wait long for the stakes to escalate. The court case wasn't just a rumor or a headline, it was imminent, and the tension online reached a fever pitch. Some supporters began strategizing hashtags, others questioned the fairness of legal action, and many simply held their breath, waiting to see how Gino's public image would survive a legal spotlight. The stakes were high, the emotions raw, and the drama far from over. One thing was certain: Gino's carefully cultivated charm was about to face its toughest test yet, and the public was already divided, opinions flying faster than anyone could keep track of. The legal storm was coming, and social media wasn't waiting. Fans were watching, talking, and picking sides. But nobody expected just how fast Gino's world would start to crumble in full view of the internet. From the moment Jasmine decided to take legal action, the nights became longer and heavier. Sleep slipped away as anxiety crept in, and panic attacks reminded her constantly that the online world wasn't just a rumor mill, it was a relentless force. Every notification, every tag post, every comment felt like a pulse she couldn't ignore. Friends noticed she was on edge, her focus fractured, her energy drained. What had started as reality TV drama had turned into something that invaded her home, her mind, her very sense of safety. And through it all, Gino seemed to skirt the consequences, posting with a confidence that only made the pressure worse. Could one person's social media behavior really shake someone's life to this degree? That question hovered over every sleepless night. Meanwhile, Gino's online activity, what he liked, shared, or commented on, was suddenly under intense scrutiny. Fans and legal teams alike dissected everything. Every sarcastic post, every dismissive remark became potential evidence. The narrative online was building fast, with fans creating memes, tweeting opinions, and flooding Instagram with hashtags either supporting Jasmine or defending Gino. One moment, it felt like a digital cheerleading squad for her; the next, a storm of criticism and skepticism that threatened to overwhelm. And somewhere in between, rumors swirled about what the court had actually uncovered. Some posts hinted at receipts that no one could yet confirm. What would those reveal when the case went public? The courtroom tension added another layer. Jasmine's lawyer painted a picture of relentless harassment, showing how online posts had escalated beyond harmless jokes to targeted attacks affecting her career and mental health. Every image, every clip of Gino's behavior on social media was examined, leaving the room buzzing with anticipation. Gino sat quietly, occasionally smirking, occasionally tense. The contrast between his casual demeanor and Jasmine's strained composure was striking, almost like watching two worlds collide. The audience online caught every snippet, every headline, every whispered report. People debated endlessly. Was this fair, or was it an overreaction? And just when it seemed like the tension might plateau, a new piece of evidence came to light, forcing everyone to rethink what they thought they knew about the case. As the days dragged on, Jasmine's emotional state fluctuated dramatically. Some mornings, she felt relief at the progress being made, a glimmer of control in a situation that had long felt uncontrollable. Other times, she was consumed by fear that Gino would escalate further, that the online harassment would never stop, that the public would misinterpret her every move. Fans online mirrored that tension, posting updates and speculating wildly, creating a parallel world where the drama unfolded even faster than in real life. One viral tweet even hinted at a shocking courtroom revelation, leaving everyone questioning how far this case would go and what the consequences might be for Gino. Gino's behavior, as presented in court, highlighted a pattern of online provocation, sometimes subtle, sometimes bold. It wasn't about personal insults alone. It was the way his actions repeatedly stoked conflict, poked at tensions, and invited public scrutiny. By acting in ways that fueled social media storms, he had created a situation that now carried real-world consequences. Fans debated endlessly whether he was careless, reckless, or simply oblivious. Some argued that Jasmine's reaction was entirely justified. Others wondered if the situation had spiraled too far, leaving the line between personal choice and public spectacle blurred. Every new post, every media update seemed to push the story into uncharted territory. The courtroom became a stage where behavior met consequence. Lawyers presented screenshots, timelines, and social media threads. The tension was almost cinematic, but the stakes were painfully real. Jasmine sat there, focused but visibly tense, navigating a process that required patience and resilience she hadn't needed before. Every question, every exhibit, every witness testimony added layers to the story. Fans online speculated about the next bombshell, and as the judge prepared to weigh in, the room seemed to hold its breath. And then, unexpectedly, a twist emerged, something about the evidence that nobody, not even the most devoted fans, had anticipated. Through all of this, Matt stayed close, offering support that went beyond words. He reminded Jasmine to breathe, to document carefully, and to trust the process. Fans watching her struggle online began to understand how exhausting fame could become when paired with harassment. The emotional toll was visible and undeniable. And yet, amid the chaos, there was a sense of empowerment forming. Jasmine was taking action, asserting control, and showing the world that online behavior has consequences. As the case progressed, fan engagement surged. Hashtags trended, memes circulated, and debates flared. Everyone had an opinion, and every opinion seemed to spark a dozen more. The story became more than reality TV. It became a conversation about accountability, digital boundaries, and the hidden emotional costs of public life. And while the drama online escalated, inside the courtroom, the unexpected twist hinted that the final outcome might be even more shocking than anyone anticipated, leaving viewers eager to see how it would all unfold. The courtroom was packed, tension humming in the air like static. When Jasmine's case against Gino finally went before a judge, it wasn't just a routine filing. It was the culmination of months of harassment, anxiety, and social media chaos. Fans had been following every twist online, but nothing could capture the weight of sitting there, facing someone who had made your life public property. Jasmine looked determined, calm on the surface, but every muscle in her body betrayed the stress she'd carried for so long. This wasn't just about pride, it was about sending a message that online harassment carries consequences. Could someone really weaponize social media to this extent? The courtroom was about to answer that question. The filing itself had been meticulous. Jasmine and her lawyer compiled screenshots, timelines, and evidence of repeated harassment. Every post, every meme, every comment Gino allegedly made online was cataloged, showing patterns of behavior that could no longer be dismissed as harmless teasing. Police involvement had elevated the stakes even further, signaling that the situation was legally serious. This wasn't just entertainment gossip anymore, it had become a real-world matter of accountability. Fans who had cheered Gino on in the past now watched anxiously, realizing that fame alone could not shield someone from repercussions. Viewers, brace yourself. The evidence revealed in court will shock your expectations. As the proceedings began, the tension was palpable. Jasmine's lawyer walked the court through the mental toll of sustained online harassment. Anxiety, insomnia, and panic attacks were detailed, not to dramatize, but to illustrate why action had to be taken. The judge listened intently, absorbing both the legal and human aspects. In court, Gino maintained a quiet composure, occasionally shifting uncomfortably, revealing cracks in what had once appeared like bravado online. The contrast between his online persona and his real-world reaction was striking. You won't believe how different he looked under this pressure. Psychologically, Jasmine's fight made perfect sense. When someone repeatedly attacks your reputation in a public space, the damage isn't just social, it penetrates deeply into self-worth and career prospects. Taking legal action was about more than a fine. It was about reclaiming control and setting boundaries. Gino's alleged actions mattered legally because they demonstrated a clear pattern of harassment, crossing the line from opinion or criticism into defamation. Every social media post became a piece of evidence, illustrating that public behavior has private consequences. Fans online debated endlessly. Was this the first time a reality TV personality faced such direct accountability for social media harassment? Stay tuned, what happens next is about to ripple far beyond this courtroom. Witnesses added drama to the case. Social media experts testified about how harassment spreads, how online mobs can distort reputations, and how targeted attacks impact mental health. The court watched as screenshots and timelines laid bare months of online tension. Gino's defense tried to frame the actions as jokes or misunderstandings, but the repetitive nature and the documented emotional impact on Jasmine made that argument weak. This wasn't about who was more popular online. It was about law versus reckless behavior in the digital age. Commentary online was exploding with fans taking sides, predicting outcomes, and debating morality. What the judge would decide next could redefine what's acceptable online for public figures. Every turn in the courtroom revealed another layer of the conflict. Jasmine's testimony was composed but filled with subtle emotion, showing strength without losing authenticity. Gino's responses were cautious, defensive, revealing his awareness that the stakes had shifted drastically from social media arguments to legal consequences. Observers noted that this case highlighted the fine line between online freedom and responsibility. When fame meets digital harassment, the fallout can be personal, professional, and cultural. And you thought this was just another reality TV scandal? Wait until you see the next revelation. As arguments wrapped, the judge considered both the evidence and the wider implications. Jasmine had clearly shown that harassment had affected her well-being and her career. Gino's alleged online behavior wasn't just immature or insensitive, it had crossed into a legally actionable pattern. Every meme, every viral post that once seemed trivial now had a cost attached. The courtroom had become a space where social media antics were finally weighed against real-world accountability. Fans watching live updates and reading transcripts were stunned at the level of detail presented. The cultural ripple effect is about to hit social media like a storm. Then came the twist no one expected. Gino was ordered to pay $50,000 in penalties, a sum reflecting not only punishment but the severity of the impact on Jasmine's life. The courtroom murmured as the verdict was read, fans erupted online, and debates exploded across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Some celebrated Jasmine's victory as justice served. Others questioned whether fines could ever repair emotional harm. The fallout extended far beyond the courtroom. Brands, fellow reality stars, and fans were now reconsidering what lines could be crossed online without repercussions. The consequences are bigger than either of them imagined, and the social media world won't stop talking. The scene left a lasting impression. Fame may offer visibility, but it does not provide immunity. Jasmine's courage to confront harassment legally showed that digital actions carry real consequences. Gino's public fall was now permanent, creating a cautionary tale for anyone who thinks online antics are harmless. Meanwhile, discussions about mental health, public scrutiny, and accountability surged, with fans and media exploring how reality TV fame intersects with social responsibility. The verdict was only part of the story. The ripple effect was just beginning, hinting at more fallout, reactions, and possibly even changes in how public figures navigate social media. What comes next could shock the entire fan community and redefine online boundaries forever. The verdict didn't just settle a courtroom case. It detonated the social media landscape. Within minutes, Jasmine's win was trending, and the reactions were intense. Some fans were cheering, calling it long overdue justice. Others defended Gino, insisting that online posts shouldn't carry such heavy consequences. The comment sections were full of heated arguments, memes, and side-by-side comparisons of the courtroom and social media battles. Every tweet, every Instagram story seemed to fan the flames even more. This wasn't just a celebrity dispute anymore. It had become a public conversation about accountability, boundaries, and the cost of fame. Viewers, wait until you see how fans completely split over this verdict. On TikTok, the clips of the court reading went viral, accompanied by reactions ranging from shock to outrage. Memes were relentless, some mocking the audacity of Gino's alleged behavior, others praising Jasmine's courage. Instagram threads exploded with hashtags demanding responsibility from public figures and warning about the dangers of online harassment. Even fans who had followed the show casually were suddenly drawn in, debating what should or shouldn't be allowed online. The story had crossed the boundary from reality TV gossip to cultural conversation. The online reactions will leave you questioning who really controls public narratives. Jasmine herself experienced a roller coaster of emotions in the days following the verdict. Relief was obvious. She had confronted months of stress, anxiety, and sleepless nights with a legal victory. But relief mingled with exhaustion. The emotional toll of reliving harassment in court, coupled with the constant scrutiny online, left her drained. Fans watched as she shared moments of quiet reflection, gratitude, and cautious optimism, revealing the human side behind the public persona. For many, this was a reminder that behind every viral feud, there is a person facing real consequences and emotional strain. And just when you think the story is over, her next moves might surprise you. Meanwhile, Gino's silence amplified the drama. Unlike Jasmine, who had spoken openly about the impact on her life, he avoided public statements entirely. This quiet created an air of mystery. Fans speculated endlessly about his next move. Was he planning a comeback, feeling regret, or simply trying to let the controversy fade? The lack of a response kept the tension high, fueling theories, debates, and online arguments. Social media became a stage for speculation, where every post, story, or lack of comment was dissected. You won't believe the theories fans are coming up with about his silence. Fan communities began breaking down into factions. Some praised Jasmine as a role model, highlighting her bravery in standing up for herself and the message it sent about online harassment. Others sympathized with Gino, framing him as a cautionary tale about fame gone wrong rather than a villain. Heated discussions spilled over into Twitter threads, Reddit posts, and comment sections, with each side passionately defending their viewpoint. The story had transcended the reality show, prompting debates about ethics, legality, and the responsibilities of public figures in digital spaces. The intensity of these discussions shows just how high the stakes became online. The cultural conversation didn't stop there. Media outlets, podcasts, and influencers began analyzing the case, discussing the intersection of reality TV fame and online harassment. Experts weighed in, exploring the psychological impact of harassment, the fragile nature of digital reputations, and the ripple effects of public shaming. For viewers, this wasn't just entertainment, it was a case study in consequences. Jasmine's legal victory became a talking point about boundaries, courage, and the responsibility that comes with visibility. You'll want to see how this shifts the way reality stars think about their social media presence. Even within her personal circles, Jasmine faced a mix of support and caution. Friends and family celebrated her win, but they also reminded her that the emotional scars might linger. Every post, every comment online served as a reminder of the months she endured. This duality, triumph mingled with vulnerability, added depth to her story. Fans were witnessing not just a legal win, but an emotional journey, one that emphasized resilience, patience, and the cost of standing up publicly. Her emotional highs and lows will keep you on edge as the drama unfolds further. Brands, sponsors, and other reality stars were also watching closely. Gino's silence and the public attention forced a reevaluation of who was safe to associate with online. The case became a cautionary tale for anyone navigating the precarious balance between fame and personal responsibility. Social media harassment was no longer abstract, it was legally and culturally consequential. The ripple effect reached beyond just Jasmine and Gino, shaping conversations in ways the show itself could never have predicted. And here's where it gets even more intense. Gino's next move could either reignite the storm or deepen the mystery. By the end of the week, the fan community was fully invested. Every new post, every hashtag, every story kept the conversation alive. Some tried to predict Gino's comeback, others analyzed Jasmine's statements, while many debated the broader message about fame, social media, and accountability. The verdict had ended the courtroom battle, but the real fight, the one over perception, culture, and digital behavior, was only just beginning. Fans were left asking, how far does responsibility extend online, and what lessons would reality stars take from this? The story is far from over, and the next chapter could change everything we thought we knew about this drama.